Good morning, afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Diallo. Welcome for those of you at home who are watching. This could be for the first time. Today is Monday, October 5th, 2020, and today we're going to be doing current events. It's a very eventful weekend, I'd say. As I grab some agua. Woo. So it's been a very, very eventful weekend this weekend. But today, the first eventful weekend and the best part of the weekend, on Saturday, October 3rd, guess what day it was? It was my birthday. Oh, it was my birthday. How about that? You know what I got to do for my birthday? Play golf. I played golf at a golf course in Davis called Wild Horse Golf Course. Beautiful golf course. It was really beautiful. And I got to play. One of the guys I played with, he's trying to get on the PGA Tour. He's 27. He went to Stanford and he's trying to get on the PGA Tour. He used to say he was really good. But I held my own. He taught me a lot of new stuff that I had seen on video and tried to do, but could never do it until I had like a coach basically showing me how to do it. One of those things I learned how to do was how to make the ball have backspin on the green. So if you ever watch TV and you watch golf on TV, you see like Tiger Woods, and he hits a ball and he hits on the green, and all of a sudden hits the green and it hits the green and goes backwards. I learned how to do that. Oh yes, it makes it so much easier to chip, or even hit like an 8-iron from 130, 140. Actually, an 8-iron would be like 150. Hit that, hit the green, and roll back to the hole. Beautiful. All right. But in less fun news, it turned out on Thursday. What happened on Thursday? Anybody didn't know what happened on Thursday? Something happened to the President of the United States.
Trump?
Yeah, something happened to Trump. Not a heart attack. He tested positive for COVID-19, which is the virus going around the world right now. He tested positive for that, and then pretty much everybody in his cabinet and in the White House tested positive. So it was a very interesting weekend. And then they actually helicoptered him to the hospital. Yes, helicoptered him to the hospital on Thursday. So all weekend the media was like, "Oh, we're doing crazy, crazy, crazy." All right, so we're just going to go over some news that's going on, not only in the Bay Area, but the world. So we're going to start off with kind of, I don't know, I guess it's sad news. We're going to start off with sad news. Let me see where it ends here. Let me see where it ends. So 6. Oh, 9. It says page 9. So the first story is going to be from Oakland. So the first one's going to be from Oakland. And the title, Slaying of Star Athlete Who Was 16 Hits East Oakland Hard. Oh, man. So it says, the coach was at home, settling in to watch a movie, when he grabbed it for his buzzing phone. A text message appeared. And Aaron Pryor... I don't think you guys can hear me with this fan this loud. There we go. Probably hard to hear that fan out loud. My fault. Let me start that again. Again, slaying of star athlete who was 16 hits East Oakland hard. The coach was at home, settling in to watch a movie when he grabbed for his buzzing phone. A text message appeared. Aaron Pryor, a star running back for Skyline High School, had been shot dead 100 yards from his home in East Oakland. Joe Bates, head coach of the Titans, had been there before. In 2017, his assistant coach was shot and killed in San Francisco after he confronted 2 men who were harassing his female friends. Months later, a wide receiver was gunned down during an argument in West Oakland. Bates grew up in the flatlands of East Oakland. He knew all too well the grim ritual of caution tape and candlelight vigils, thoughts, and prayers. He had watched Aaron's neighborhood of off Seminary Avenue become the epicenter of citywide homicide spike over the summer that coincided with the pandemic and unraveled years of progress in Oakland. As of Friday, the city had 75 homicides this year, a 34% increase from the 56 reported by this time in 2019. The coach had hoped the violence would spare Aaron. The boy who was slain September 27th had turned 16 only weeks earlier. Sports needed to take him out of Oakland, Bates said in an interview last week. He had to get out of here if he wanted to survive. From a young age, Aaron excelled at every sport he tried. He could crack home runs, sink three-pointers on the basketball court, and outsprint just about anyone, said his mother, Tiffany Winters. But football was his great love, Winters said. Quick and nimble, Aaron had a knack for outwitting larger defensive players. He joined the Oakland Junior Raiders, whose name nodded the city's former home team and wore the same silver and black uniforms. In another youth league founded by rapper-artist Snoop Dogg, he was named the most valuable player. Last week, Winters shared a photo of her son at 14, flexing a bicep with one arm and gripping a giant shimmering trophy with the other. My heart feels like it's bleeding, she said, her voice shaking. Off the field, Aaron's life was fretted with stress. His mother worked 2 jobs, relying on Aaron and his 2 older sisters to babysit their 5-year-old little brother. Aaron sometimes juggled this responsibility with online classes. Winters noticed that the blocks around the family's peach stucco apartment building were becoming more and more dangerous. Gangs prowled the neighborhoods, and Winters said she frequently heard the rattling of gunfire. Aaron complained his friends were going to jail. He wanted to move up and out of there, Winters said. She added that the family had been saving up to move, but didn't have a destination yet. Football provided not only a safe harbor for Aaron and other boys, but a sense of structure. Training was rigorous, from the weightlifting and the yoga to bleacher runs or whiteboard strategy sessions. Bates and his assistant coaches also offered pep talks, tutored the players, and taught them life skills. The Titans instilled a sense of belonging in Aaron and pride in his mom. That's sad, isn't it? That is sad. That's sad. And every time you hear about a young kid like that dying, especially being shot, it just shouldn't happen, right? 16 years old and he's shot by another black man. That's why in some of these places, I'd be scared to go out at night. Some parts of East Oakland or Richmond, or so, I'd be scared to go to San Francisco. I'd be scared to go out at night in some of those areas. Get shot just for no reason, you know? Man. Let's look at news of the world. So news of the day from around the world. Number 1, deadly flooding. French authorities deployed about 1,000 firefighters, 4 military helicopters, and troops Sunday to search for at least 8 people who were missing after floods hit a mountainous border region with Italy, where at least 4 people died. Floods washed away houses and destroyed roads surrounding the city of Nice on the French Riviera. Almost a year's average rainfall fell in less than 12 hours. The missing included 2 French firefighters whose vehicles was carried away by a torrent when a road collapsed near Saint Martin. All right, news of the day from around the world, number 2, China crash. A crash on a highway in northeastern China on Sunday killed at least 18 people, police said. Wow. A minivan rear-ended a tractor and then collided with a car traveling in the opposite direction in Fuya and Jilin province, police said. 8 people died at the scene and 10 more at the hospital, while 1 more person was being treated for non-life-threatening injuries, the statement said. The cause of the accident is under investigation. 18 people died in one crash. Oh, man. All right. Next one, it's Plane Probe. Canada is forming its own forensic examination and assessment team to examine evidence in the downing of a Ukrainian jetliner in January in Iran that killing all 176 people on board. The Office of Foreign Minister Francois Philippe Champagne said the team will analyze all available information about the January 8th crash near Tehran and will advise the Canadian government on its credibility. Iran's Revolutionary Guard shot down the plane, with troops appearing to have mistaken the aircraft for a missile. So this happened in January of this year. There was a Ukrainian flight that was going over Iran. So a civilian plane that had Canadians on it and Iranians on it. So they were basically Canadian citizens who were visiting family in Iran. And the Iranian military shot it down with the missile, shot it down because they mistook it for a military aircraft from another country. And I guarantee you, the soldier who shot it down, he's dead. I guarantee you the Iranian government killed him so that he can't say anything. Terrible. The plane, a Boeing 737-800, traveling to Ukraine, capital of Kiev, was carrying 167 passengers and 9 crew members from several countries, including 82 Iranians, more than 50 Canadians, including many Iranians with dual citizenship, and 11 Ukrainians, according to the officials. Ugh. All right, our next story. Antiquities found. So antiques, old antiques were found. Archaeologists have unearthed dozens of ancient coffins and a vast necropolis south of Cairo, Egypt's tourism and antiquities minister, Khalid El-Anami said, at least 59 sealed sarcophagi with mummies inside. Most of them were found to have been buried in 3 wells more than 2,600 years ago. Wow. I consider this to be the beginning of a big discovery, El-Anani said, adding that there is an unknown number of coffins that have yet to be unearthed in the same area. He spoke at the famed step pyramid of Djoser and Saqqara, where the coffins were found. The Saqqara Plateau boasts at least 11 pyramids, along with hundreds of tombs of ancient officials and other sites that range from the First Dynasty, which was 2900 BC to 2700 BC, to the Coptic period, which is 395 AD through 642 AD. So that's based on they found over 50 mummies that were buried in Egypt. So that's going to be on TV on the Science Channel. This whole document, they're going to document this in about a month or two. It's going to be on the Science Channel. I'm going to watch it. About the unearthing these mummies in Saqqara. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Whew. Is it sports? This is sports. A lot of people like sports. It was football yesterday. Lots of football yesterday. All right. Let's see. Well, let's look at some Bay Area news. How about that? Some good old-fashioned Bay Area news. So I told you that Trump got diagnosed with COVID this weekend, and Trump's doctors came out and was trying to tell people what happened, but a lot of people don't believe his doctor. And I don't disbelieve him, but there's HIPAA laws, and HIPAA laws dictate what the doctor can and can't say to the public about a patient. So if Trump didn't allow the doctor to say everything, then the doctor can't say much. So let's UCSF doctor doubts Trump doctors. Dr. Bob Watcher, a chair of the Department of Medicine at UCSF is a political junkie accustomed to the invasion by elected officials. Let's read that again. Dr. Bob Watcher, chair of the Department of Medicine at UCSF, is a political junkie accustomed to invasion by elected officials. What Watcher cannot get accustomed to is invasion from physicians in white coats. So when he heard Dr. Sean Connolly, President Trump's primary physician, admit to reflecting an upbeat attitude and accusing his own diversion tactics and describing the president's condition, Watcher felt compelled to offer a rebuttal. As physicians, we are utterly dependent on trust. So to me, if you are going to come out and give a press briefing, that the imperative is to be truthful, Watcher said after watching Connolly's update Sunday morning. He said the doctor's remarks were disheartening for not giving the public the real story. Watcher, 63, a political science major at the University of Pennsylvania, 11 years after Trump studied real estate there, has given running Twitter commentary on all things COVID since March. He has 137,000 followers, and to join in and read offers of cautionary tale of what did President's doctor know and when did he know it, to paraphrase the late Senator Howard Baker during Watergate. They had told us things that have proved to be false, Watcher said. When that has happened, it has always been in the direction of truth being worse than what they told us. As evidence, Watcher noted the changing story as to the president's ease of breathing and the severity of his fever. In addition, Trump was said not to have required oxygen on a given day, when in fact he had required oxygen at another time. Watcher also believes that the results of the president's CAT scan were more troubling than has been revealed. Connolly attributed most of this baffling misinformation to a lapse in communication. I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the president of his course of illness has had, he said, according to the reports. I didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction. And in doing so, it came off that we were trying to hide something. The fact of the matter is, he's doing very well. News representatives for the Walter Reed National Military Center did not immediately respond to a request for comment Sunday. Watcher's deduction is that the president has moderately serious case of COVID, including involvement in his lungs, which could easily worsen given that Trump is 74 and overweight, factors that increase a person's risk of death. His condition could require higher levels of oxygen and admission to intensive care. If the president is sent to the intensive care unit, he could be sedated and placed on a ventilator. At that point, Watcher said, Trump could no longer carry out his duties, and power presumably would be passed to Vice President Mike Pence. Short of that, the combination of disease and steroids could confuse the president and make him unable to carry out those duties, Watcher said. Watcher understands Connolly's optimism in his clinical relationship to Trump because, to some extent, that is what all physicians do. In our patient care, we try to give our patients hope as long as facts support it, he said. But once Connolly strolls to the podium, he is no longer acting as an individual physician. He is also talking to the entire world about information that is important for a policy viewpoint. Watcher also sharply criticized President Trump's brief motorcade ride near Walter Reed on Sunday to greet supporters, a trip that experts say could have endangered those in the car with him. His first thought, he wrote on Twitter, was, this has got to be a joke, but nope, it's real. So massively irresponsible, and another reason to question whether he is capable of making some decision at this point. Yeah, so this doctor does not believe that Trump is able to make rash decisions with the virus that he has. And he thinks that Trump's doctor, was stretching the truth about Trump's actual diagnosis. Which I counter him by saying there's HIPAA laws, there's HIPAA rules stating that doctors, no matter who it is, cannot release information without the patient's authority. Ooh, wow. All right, so let's see what else we got. Japanese designer Kenzo Takada passed away. He was a famous designer. 81. He died of COVID. Mm-hmm. I know. Oh, here's a good story. Last chance for the bar exam. 87-year-old seeking one last try at bar exam if red tape clears. There's 80. You know what the bar exam is? To be a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's a test to become a lawyer. So it's a very difficult test. Where I think it's something like 40% of people pass it on the first time. Most people fail it the first time. My sister actually passed that on her second try. Yeah. So, like most 87-year-olds, like most people 87 years of age, Porter Davis is running out of time. This year is probably my last chance, he said. A lot can happen when you're 87. Davis said he is trying to tie up loose ends in his life. The biggest loose end from his nearly 99 decades on earth is passing the California bar exam and becoming a lawyer. There may be 1.3 million lawyers in the U.S. according to the American Bar Association, but Davis said with a sigh, none of them is him. As a young man in the 1960s, he attended 2 law schools and took the bar exam 4 times. Wow. He flunked out of one of the law schools. He also flunked the bar exam all 4 times. I know. That was then, Davis said. With a lifetime of experience, he's smarter now. He's ready to try again if a technical impasse with the state bar gets resolved. I believe in being optimistic, he said. The exam will be administered Monday and Tuesday. Davis, a retired real estate broker and former construction worker from Lake Spur, dug up all of his old law books. He paid $2,500 for a bar exam study course consisting of 12 more law books. He's studying at least several minutes every day. Wait, he's studying at least several minutes every day. I would hope so. Several minutes. I would say several hours every day, not several minutes. Davis recently sat down in an outdoor cafe near his home to show how a man who is running out of time studies for an exam. Davis, who says he is the oldest person ever to take the bar exam, picked up the first of his 12 exam prep books and began turning the pages quickly. He looked at each page for about 1 second before turning to the next page. I'm getting a mental image of the material, he said. I'm taking a photograph that goes into your subconscious mind. It took him a full half a minute to study the first 30 pages of the book. What? How's that? I don't believe in memorizing things, Davis said. Well, that might be why he failed it 4 times. I'm sorry. It might be a moot point, as they say. In his prospective trade, because of a bunch of red tape at the state bar. The exam registrar sent Davis a form letter saying the office couldn't find records of the 4 bar exams that Davis flunked in the 1960s, which would have entitled him to try again. Transcripts from the second of the 2 law schools Davis attended, which also would entitle him to try again, have also gone missing. Davis does have 4 years of law school transcripts from 2 schools, the Chronicle confirmed. The registrar refunded Davis his $830 bar exam fee. Pursuant to Rule 4.26, the letter said, employing the kind of language that lawyers like to use, you are not eligible to take the 2020 bar examination. Davis doesn't want his $830 back. He wants to be a lawyer partly, he said, because he has 6 former wives, and being a lawyer might come in handy. You never know. He was married 6 times? Oh my gosh, this is a hell of a story. Oh. Oh. When he called the bar exam register, Davis said he was told that the exam records from the 1960s were all on paper and not on computers, and that his records could not be found. Davis said he was asked if he could prove that he had taken the bar exam in the 1960s by producing the letters he received from the bar at the time that said he had failed. I had thrown them away, he said. It was too painful. A spokeswoman for the state bar, Teresa Renault, said any applicant who flunks is permitted to retake the exam, but that she could not provide specifics about Davis. All applicants' information is confidential, Russo said. This year, about 10,000 people will take the California bar exam, and based on past results, about 6,000 of them will flunk. So I was right. About 40% of them pass, 60% fail. So my numbers are right at the beginning. Because of the pandemic, applicants will take the test at home and must agree to be monitored by their computer video cameras to make sure they are not looking up the answers. Davis said he is not giving up. He has already contacted a lawyer, the kind that files lawsuits on behalf of people who have suffered a wrongful act, which he said he knows from his studies is called a tort, and which the state bar ought to know too. And he contacted the office and the state assemblyman, Mark Levine, Democrat from Marin County, who assigned a staff member to look into Davis's missing records claim. Levine said he would do what he could. We're going to ask the bar to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, Levine said. This is still a work in progress. I really respect what Mr. Davis is trying to do. He's got a lot of guts. Davis, who knows most of what's in the First Amendment, will need to move fast to master the differences between voluntary and involuntary manslaughter. He's flipping the pages faster than ever. I'm weighing my options, Davis said, but now I'm going to be a maliquitose, okay, and not going to take no for an answer. So how about that? So he took the test in the 1960s 4 times and failed. Since the 1960s to now, he's had 6 wives. Oh my goodness. I think after the 3rd one, you might have been like, marriage isn't my thing. But you have 6 wives, for goodness sakes. Oh my goodness. That is ridiculous. Isn't that? Oh. Oh my gosh. That is 6 wives. Oh, he's probably like in his 70s or he's in his 60s, so he's got to be in his 80s. He's 81. He said it was 81, so yeah. That is unbelievable. 6 wives. Ah! Ah!
Will Diallo become a lawyer?
No, he's trying to right now, so he can retake the test if he already failed it. But since he took the test in the 1960s, back then they didn't have computers to keep the records on. So all the records were on paper. So the state bar can't find his records from the 1960s. Because they probably have a warehouse full of stuff and they can't find his. So because of that, since they can't find it, he can't retake the test. Because there's no evidence that he took the test. But he did go to law school, but they can't find that information either. So he's either telling the truth or he's flat out lying. He's got 6 wives, so 6 ex-wives. So I'm going for the stretching the truth part, personally. That's man, that's great stuff. That is great stuff. Let's see what else we got in here. News of the world again, okay? Let's see. Pope visit. Pope Francis traveled to the tomb of his nature-loving namesake and signed an encyclical Saturday, laying out his vision of a post-COVID-19 world built on solidarity, fraternity, and care for the environment. In his first outing from Rome since late February, Francis celebrated Mass in the Umbrian hilltop town of Assisi. The document Fratelli Tutti means brothers all, is to be released Sunday. It is expected to be a synthesis of the priorities of Francis pontificate, such as greater solidarity with the poor, dialogue with others, and care for God's creation. Next one, migrant caravan. Hundreds of Honduran immigrants who had entered Guatemala last week without registering were being taken back to their country's borders Saturday after running into a large roadblock. Police said the migrants had boarded buses and army trucks to be returned. Guatemala immigration authorities said some of the original group of about 2,000 migrants had agreed to return to Honduras. The others had split between two routes, some traveling north to Petén, where the roadblock was, and others headed west toward the capital, Guatemala City. Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei viewed the group with hope, which hoped to reach the U.S. as a contingent risk amid the virus pandemic, and vowed to deport them. Mexico has always warned that it will enforce its immigration laws and even persecute people who knowingly put public health at risk. So because it's being late summer, it's starting to cool down, especially in Mexico and in Guatemala. So this is the time where, because it's cool, this is the time where people start to immigrate. Because if you go to the middle of the summer, it's 115 degrees in the desert and there's no water, and many migrants die trying to get from Mexico to America, going through Arizona and Texas. A lot of immigrants die trying to go through the desert. It's sad. Mm-hmm. Man. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, here we go. Another news of the day, space station. A cargo ship is on its way to the International Space Station carrying a 360-degree camera for spacewalking, radish seeds for growing, and a smorgasbord of fancy meats and cheeses for feasting. Northrop Grumman launched its capsule Friday from Wallops Island in Virginia, on the Virginia coast, providing a nighttime treat for observers from the Carolinas to New England. It was a spectacular launch, said NASA Deputy Space Station Program Manager Ken Todd, creating the artificial dawn for a few minutes there. It was just gorgeous. The shipment should reach the space station Monday. So they launched on, what to say they launched on? So they launched on Friday, but it's not going to get there till Monday. Because what happened, you're like, why does it take so long? It should just go up there and connect, right? But what happens is they launch it into space, and the space station's going around at 40,000 miles an hour. And they're going around like this around the Earth. And they're launching this missile, and it's got to catch up to the space station. So space station missile. So they're going around like this, and they slowly have to catch up to each other, so then they can dock. Boom. It takes about 3 days for them to catch up to each other to dock. Mm-hmm. Think about trying to, docking procedure is like trying to make shooting two guns at each other and making the bullets touch. That's like that's like docking at a space station. Yeah, think of like you and I shooting bullets at each other and trying to make the bullets hit each other. That's how hard that is. That's how fast they're going. They're going faster than a speeding bullet. That's how fast the space station's going. And then you have the capsule that's going just as fast, and they have to try to catch each other. It's hard. It's hard. All right, let's see what we got here. We got all the fires, man. Let's see. Blaze raging in Napa and Sonoma counties. The glass fire continued its rampage through Napa and Sonoma counties under hot, smoky skies, and a new red flag warning for high fire danger was issued until 6 a.m. Sunday as gusty winds returned. But in a bit of good news, rain has crept into the forecast for Friday and Saturday. It will be widespread, National Weather Service meteorologist Rich Canepe said. 3/4 of an inch up to an inch, and a general easing of temperatures. Things are looking up. Since it ignited September 27th in hot, windy weather, the glass fire has ripped through a key section of wine country, destroying 173 homes in Napa County and 120 in Sonoma County, as well as hundreds of other buildings, including some wineries. It has blackened over 36,000 acres and was 15% contained as of Saturday night. The National Weather Service let a red flag warning for area around the fire expire Saturday morning after powerful winds failed to materialize, but it issued another warning Saturday around 4 p.m. for the North Bay Hills above 1,000 feet. In the glass fire zone, wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour were expected, and the fire was very active, Saturday, CAL FIRE tweeted. On Saturday afternoon, 3 large air tankers, including a 747, joined the glass firefight. Smoke had prevented CAL FIRE from using fixed-wing aircraft in recent days, but clear skies allowed their return, said Donna Sager, a spokeswoman for CAL FIRE. The tankers were dropping huge loads of bright orange fire retardant and joined in a fleet of helicopters dumping buckets of water or retardant. CAL FIRE said hot, dry weather and unseasonably strong ride of high pressure would contribute to active fire behavior and containment challenges. Temperatures in the fire area were more than 10 degrees above normal Saturday. Wow. The main fire gross Saturday was in the Palisades area, just west of Highway 29 in the vicinity of Robert Louis Stevenson State Park. Napa County Fire Department Chief Jeff Belay said, "The good news is that the firefighters have been successful in fighting the fire off from Agwin." Agwin is up Highway 29, all the way up in near Calistoga, Napa, going towards the hills. Mm-hmm. The fire also didn't advance north toward Calistoga or on the southern end on the east side of Silverado Trail. Crews are making progress constructing fire lines on the west side of Highway 29 between Spring Mountain Road and Whitehall Lane, but the terrain is treacherous. CAL FIRE Battalion Chief Mark Bruton said in a video update Saturday evening that some fire is moving into both Napa Valley State Park, which is between St. Helena and Calistoga, and contains hiking trails and redwood trees. So they don't want the redwood trees to die because some of those redwood trees are 1,000 years old. They're 1,000 years old, and they're as wide as from you all the way to me. That's how wide they are. You can drive a car through some of those redwood trees. Yeah. They're huge. Mm-hmm. Where was I? As for Calistoga, it's looking a lot better, Bruton said in a Facebook video posted Saturday after crews lengthened lines and protected houses and businesses. Agwin, home to Pacific Union College and a hospital, also have new lines set up and has the additional benefit of hosting a base for aircraft that drop water and retardant for the fires. Agwin is looking good still, Bruton said, who noted it was a high priority for firefighters. Evacuation warnings were lifted for some sections of Santa Rosa on Saturday. Smoke from the Glass Fire and other Northern California wildfires continued to make the Bay Area skies gray and hazy Saturday, but they appeared a bit brighter and bluer. Air quality readings were improved in some areas. The National Weather Service said the arrival of winds from the northwest should push out most smoke by Sunday, which is true because it's clear as day today. But a spare the air alert remains in effect through Tuesday. Firefighters continue making progress on 3 other active California fires that, together with the Glass Fire, have burned a vast number of acres of Northern California and Central California. The August complex fires in 7 Northern California counties, now in its 47th day, grew to 984,000 acres with only 51% containment. Authorities added several areas to the region under fire evacuation Friday. 2 inmate firefighters were injured in the Zog fire burning in Shasta and Tahoma counties, and CAL FIRE officials reported Saturday. They were taken to local hospitals where one was treated and released and the other remained hospitalized. So they're inmates, they're inmate firefighters, meaning that they're in prison, but they have good behavior and they volunteer to fight the fires. And in the past, so they're trained to be firefighters, but they're in prison. And in the past, once those people were released, they were not, because of their criminal record, they were not allowed to even become firefighters. But that law's changed now. As that law's changed, because they're doing good work. They did their time in prison. Not only that, but they volunteered to be firefighters. So when they get out, why wouldn't they be able to be firefighters because of their record? If they're nonviolent and they're going to be firefighters, why not let them? Okay, because it's a federal job, so you're not allowed to have a felony. But that's changed now. So today, let's say I'm in jail and I want to be a firefighter in jail. I do that. When I get out, I can now start the process of being a full-time firefighter. So that's good that they're allowing that to happen. Yes, because if I get out of jail and I've got nothing, but I have these skills to be a firefighter and I can't use them, like what am I going to do? I can't get a job doing anything because I got stuff on my record, The fire has burned 56,000 acres with 66% containment. That's the Zog fire. Firefighters made enough progress against the blaze that they lifted some evacuation orders and allowed Whiskey Town Reservoir, which had been used by firefighting helicopters, to reopen. The fire had minimal growth in size. It continues to burning in grass, woodland, chaparral, and mixed timber, CAL FIRE said. The Creek Fire in Fresno and Madera counties have burned 314,000 acres, and it's 49% contained. Sierra National Forest officials allowed people who fled the blaze in a popular recreation area on Labor Day weekend to make appointments to return and retrieve their belongings from campgrounds and cabins. So that's what's going on with the fires. That's what's going on with the fires. And there's a drought going on right now too. Actually, it's not as bad. The drought was worse in 2014. That was the worst of the droughts. It's actually 2019. There was no drought because of all the rain we got in 2018. But the drought conditions are starting to come back, which is that's actually normal for California. California is, because we're in a Mediterranean climate where it's very if you look back through the geological record and the record of tree rings, even 1,000 years ago, there'd be periods where there'd be 20 years of no rain or very little rain. 500 years ago, they looked at tree ring samples from 500 years ago on redwoods, and there was a drought for 10 years where the tree wouldn't grow very much, and all of a sudden there was huge growth because there's a lot of rain. So droughts are very normal for California, especially Southern California, because Los Angeles County, that's actually a desert. All of LA is a desert. It's actually a desert. If you go back to like the 1920s, when you look at LA, there was LA, then everything else is desert. Oh man. All right. So we're going to end this. Here's interesting. This is an open letter to Jeff Bezos regarding the Amazon. Wait, an open letter to Jeff Bezos regarding the Amazon. So an open letter to Jeff Bezos regarding the Amazon to reuse boxes initiative. I don't know what this is, but this is somebody paid for this to be in the newspaper, so we're going to read it. It says, "Dear Jeff," and this letter is to Jeff Bezos, who was the CEO, owner, and founder of Amazon. Amazon is the place where you order stuff. You can order a book, you can order this on Amazon, and it'll get to you in one day. He revolutionized the way we shop. He started off the company in his house, and when I was in high school, it started, and all they did was have books. Started off as a bookseller, an online bookseller, and it turned into making him the richest man in the world. He's worth something like $100 billion or something crazy. All right, dear Jeff. Firstly, our heartfelt thank you for Amazon's rapid response to the pandemic and enabling millions of people to access critical supplies. But this rapid response has revealed a massive issue of waste surrounding home-delivered packages. Only one needs to glance at the sidewalk on trash collection day to see the extent of the challenge. The convenience that we love about Amazon is creating an environmental issue. But you know this and don't need to be reminded of this challenge. You're looking for solutions, and I'm offering you one. Run a pilot pickup program in Marin. You know Marin, the county just north of the Golden Gate Bridge. The program would ask for delivery trucks to collect Amazon boxes and plastic mailers on subsequent deliveries and take them back to Amazon warehouses for reuse. Simple but effective. Reuse is key. 10 Marin cities have enthusiastically endorsed the initiative, as has the Marin County Board of Supervisors and Congressman Jared Huffman. The county's largest businesses and 10,000 residents and counting have signed the Amazon to Reuse Boxes petition. Why? Because it's a tree saver, a water saver, and a cost eliminator, a waste reducer, and an efficiency enhancer. It would help Marin County achieve its zero waste goal while enhancing Amazon's reputation as a community-minded partner. There is no downside. That's actually not true. There's a downside to everything. There's no such thing as no downside. There's a cost benefit. Doesn't matter what you do. If I yell and scream, there's a downside to that. If I cry, it may make me feel better, but this downside is something else. There's always a downside. We all already love the moment when Amazon boxes appear on our doorstep. With your support, we can feel the same way a second time when those same boxes disappear from our doorsteps. We are standing by, eagerly awaiting your response. Best regards, Carolyn Lund. Committee, Amazon to Reuse Box Initiative. Interesting. It's actually a good thing. All right, so we're going to do one more little section, and we're going to do News of the Weird and Today in History. So we're going to start with News of the Weird.
Weird?
Yes. So this is least competent criminals. Convicted drug smuggler Michael Glenn, 24, hired a helicopter at Deurne Airport near Antwerp, Belgium on September 25th, then hijacked the aircraft in mid-flight and forced the pilot to fly to Berkendaal Women's Prison south of Brussels to free his wife, Crystal Appels, 27, who was being held there on suspicion of murdering an ex-boyfriend. The Guardian reported authorities arrested Gillen and several accomplices within 24 hours when they discovered he had used his real name to hire the helicopter. Oh my gosh. Oh. So he hired a helicopter to fly to a women's prison so he could pick up his wife. He could break out his wife. Did he think that just nobody could just follow the helicopter and see where it landed after? Come on. What an idiot. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. So today in history. So today is October 5th. So we're looking back on October 5th, going back to history. So October 5th, 1947, President Harry S. Truman delivered the first televised White House address as he spoke on the world food crisis. So 1947 was the first time a president spoke on television. Interesting. October 5th, 1953, Earl Warren was sworn in as the 14th Chief Justice of the United States, succeeding Fred M. Vinson. So Earl Warren.
What year was it?
53. So Earl Warren was the chief person who wrote the report on JFK's assassination, which was called the Warren Report. And when the Warren Report was finally finished and put out, a lot of people did not believe it because who shot JFK?
What's his name?
And I just forgot his name. Oswald.
Yep.
Okay, Oswald shot JFK. A lot of people don't believe it because they feel like there was a second shooter. They don't think that Oswald could have shot the president all by himself. Because the video shows when JFK gets shot, one shot hits him, and then the next shot hits him, and it goes forward. His head goes backwards. And they're saying if Oswald is shooting from behind him, how could his head go backwards if the bullet's coming from behind? So they think there was a second shooter, but they don't know they don't know how bullets work in the body. It's very gruesome. But what would happen basically is if you get shot from behind with a high enough caliber bullet, or even in the right position, the bullet's actually going to go through your head, and as it comes out the front of your head, it's an explosive charge that blows out, and it's going to blow your head back with the explosive charge. Gross, but that's what happens. October 5th, 1958. Racially desegregated Clinton High School in Clinton, Tennessee was mostly leveled by an early morning bombing. Well, I didn't know that. So Clinton High School in Clinton, Tennessee was bombed because they desegregated the school. There were black and white students. And that was in 1958. That was before the Civil Rights Movement.
Yes.
Ooh. And they desegregated a school in Tennessee. Woo! October 5th, 1988. Democrat Lloyd Bentsen lambasted Republican Dan Quayle during their vice presidential debate, telling Quayle, "Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy." So today's birthday, Neil deGrasse Tyson is 62 today. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a black astrophysicist. one of the smartest men in the world, and he's just a great guy altogether.
Wasn't there a boxer that was Tyson?
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's the boxer.
Yeah.
He's in his 50s. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me today for our current events. Again, my name is Diallo. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day.
Good night.
You are welcome.